What's up everyone, welcome back to another market update. As you can see right now, the Bitcoin price is absolutely going through the roof, and guess where it's landing? If you've been watching the market update videos from the past few weeks, you know that I have been looking at this exact area, which is right at around 30k for a rejection. If you had limit orders set right there, you'd be in quite a bit of profit at the moment, given that price has dumped $2,000 in a matter of minutes. But also, if you had long orders just targeting this area, well, you'd also be in really big money. But otherwise, now that this level has been hit, the question is why and what's next? And let's start off with the reason why. Basically, what I'm willing to bet on is the fact that the Bitcoin price is pumping at the moment because the SEC failed to appeal to Grayscale's Bitcoin trust. So essentially, we are about to have or at least we are one step closer to having a Bitcoin ETF, and since crypto is quite the sentimental market, it tends to react pretty strongly to news like this, but it is for good reason, because once we do get a spot Bitcoin ETF, the amount of institutional money that is going to pour into the crypto markets is going to be absolutely insane, and at the very least, this will set us up for a really nice bull market heading into the next bull market. So that is the reason why Bitcoin has pumped. For those of you looking for a rationalization, but we were sort of already expecting this in the first place, especially if you watched last week's video. But now that this level has been hit, well, what's next? Well, at the moment, it's a bit hard to tell, but I'm going to stick with my previous buys, because what I was hoping for previously was for price to get rejected off of this block right here, and then have a monthly power of 3 expansion down into the 24 or even 23k area. Now that this level has been hit, all I'm simply going to do is start looking for signs that the market wants to expand that way. And if it doesn't, for example, if it starts going up from here on out, then obviously I'm just going to ride that wave. But given how the liquidity has already been swept here, maybe you don't really have much of a reason to go all the way back up there. Although, if there is one thing that I must warn you guys about, is the fact that the markets always move from a phase of low volatility to high volatility and then back to a state of low volatility. Given that we have had quite a good amount of volatility over here, it wouldn't be surprising for Bitcoin for the rest of this week to just start ranging around and engineer liquidity before the next move. And it will not be too late for you to decide, or at least for me, to read what is going to be the next move after the range has been formed. It's going to be way higher probability if you decide to take a trade then compared to right now, where it's a bit more of a coin toss. So one of the things that I do recommend this week is just, exercise patience, especially when it comes to Bitcoin. If you want to get into altcoins on the basis that the profits gained from Bitcoin, people are going to cycle it into altcoins, then please do so. But otherwise on Bitcoin, it's kind of a coin toss at the moment. Now we move on to Ethereum. Now in this video, we're going to talk about Solana as well, because I do believe that there is going to be a, pretty nice opportunity on Solana. Otherwise, on Ethereum, well, it is looking as weak as ever, with Bitcoin pumping more than 10% in like a 10-minute span. Ethereum pretty much went up by, let's see here, maybe 5, maybe 6%. So obviously at the moment, Ethereum is looking much weaker than Bitcoin, and I've been saying this for months on end at this point. If you are going to go prioritize longs, use Bitcoin, and if you want to look for shorts, use Ethereum, because it's going to dump on a relatively larger margin compared to Bitcoin. Now, the target for Ethereum at the moment, given that the short-term bull target at 1520 has already been hit, then the target for Ethereum in this case is going to be around 1420 and even 1370 to some extent. And though this will only come through if Bitcoin starts dumping over the next few days, but otherwise expect Ethereum to start engineering liquidity just like Bitcoin as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if you start, slowly bleeding out into the 1420 area. And on another note, there is a piece of news, or rather piece of information for Ethereum that is fairly bearish for Ethereum. Basically, the revenue from network fees on the Ethereum blockchain has reached its lowest point since April 2020 when it transitioned into proof-of-stake protocol. It's basically decreased by 90% from its peak, and this is a problem because in the last 30 days, the Ethereum token supply has increased by about 33,500 Ethereum, or approximately $52 million, due to reduced blockchain activity. Now, Ethereum is a token where, with its current protocol, benefits from very high usage and very high volume. That's what makes Ethereum deflationary. And in a bear market such as this, well, Ethereum is not only fighting to stay shoulder to shoulder with Bitcoin, but it is also fighting with inflationary tokenomics, which is another piece of information that adds to the Ethereum bearish bias the moment. And now we move on to Solana. And the reason why I come to Solana is because there is an event called Solana Breakpoint, which is happening on the end of this month at October 20. Now, usually, Solana tends to rip a bit during the conference. It might be worth it to start setting ourselves up for a bullish trade on Solana. Even though I say that it is easier said than done because of the recent Bitcoin pump, it sort of puts a wrench into our plans. Now, I have a very clear target for Solana, which is 25.6. It hasn't been hit for quite a while. So I expect Solana to continue reaching for that, especially because you have just formed one high here, another high there, that high there, and that high there. So you have 4 relatively equal highs here, which also means that there is a ton of liquidity right above this level. So this level is going to get hit sooner rather than later. The problem with this pump is that it puts a wrench into specific entry criteria. If we haven't started pumping, I would just tell you guys like, hey, we have like a fair value gap over here or, whatever. But the fact that we have just pumped and took liquidity, the only entry I see that makes any remote sense is this fair value gap right here on the 4-hourly chart between 22.6 and 22.2. But then again, there is about 2 weeks left until, the Solana event. So the 4-hourly chart might be a bit too short to actually nail down an entry for, Solana at the moment. But if we don't use the 4-hourly chart, I don't really see an entry on the higher time frame. Like, sure, you can have, this bullish order block right here, but technically it's already been filled and, you've already taken off. And the only way, like the best entry, in my opinion, is going to be right here at 20.6, because this is where, you have the fair value gap, you have a lot of liquidity levels, you take the liquidity. This is basically known as a liquidity sweep in a bullish environment, where when you sweep sell-side liquidity, it leads to forming new highs, because the market makers require fuel in order to move the markets aggressively towards the upside. Where do they get that fuel? Sell-side liquidity. And it just so happens that this is also a key level. So all in all, it's like that is the level that I'm looking at, but I'm not sure if we will get this level hit before the next 2 weeks and then start getting the pump. But if we do, look to purchase Solana or to go long at around 20.6 and then take profit at about 25.6. That is about a $5 swing, or about, say, like a 25% move if you were to be able to buy here. But otherwise, just momentum trade it, I guess, over the next 2 weeks, because, well, the price is definitely going to hit 25.6 before or shortly after the beginning of the Solana Breakpoint event. But otherwise, this is all I have for today. It's my birthday today, so I'm going to go celebrate real quick, and I'll see you guys in the next market update video. Bye-bye.